Hello, everybody out in YouTube. This is Michael with the Geek for Life. Starting out a new series on this channel where I give my first impressions on a movie that just came out that I saw. I won't be doing these for every movie that comes out, just for the few I want to see. And actually, I am one video behind because I wanted to do one for Batman vs. Superman, but the movie came out just before I got married, and so time didn't allow for it. So I'm starting out with Captain America: Civil War. Just so you know, this video does have spoilers in it. I'm not going to try to avoid anything. I'm just going to say what my thoughts are on it, and spoilers are going to come out. So if you don't want to hear anything that's in the movie, then you should turn this video off like right now. So you have 3, 2, 1, and that's it. You've lost your chance. So Captain America: Civil War. It's actually a really good movie. It even did better in my mind anyway than Winter Soldier did. A lot of people actually know the premise already, of course, from the trailers. Is Captain America and Iron Man are on different sides of what's called the Sokovia Accords, which came out from the United Nations. They're basically acknowledging that people did die during the attacks that the Avengers were involved in, and that maybe the Avengers are partially responsible for that, and that they need to be sort of regulated or controlled. And some of them are in favor of it, and some of them aren't. Iron Man is, of course, in favor of this, and Captain America is not. And so they just they split off into different sides. The Sokovia Accords, they do kind of make sense. One of the good things about this movie is that you can see both sides of the argument on this. I mean, I'm still on Team Captain America. I still think he did the right thing, but I can absolutely see the other side on this. They show a video, and it's in the trailer too, where they point out how many people died in each of the attacks that we saw in the previous Marvel movies, specifically the Avengers in New York, Winter Soldier in DC, and of course Sokovia, which is what really kind of set this whole thing in motion, because there were apparently a lot of deaths in that one. And even though they did their best to evacuate and everything, there were still deaths. So, and they even show some clips. They show like the attack on New York. There's somebody's filming it with a camera, and then the Hulk jumps up on a building, and some of the rubble comes down and kills the guy. And they show DC, and one of the helicarriers comes crashing down into the water, and the water comes up and washes a bunch of people away. And of course, they go over a lot of the Sokovia. So people did die in these attacks, even though they weren't shown. And it wasn't necessarily a huge number of people either. It was like 100 people here or there. I think Sokovia had multiple hundreds. And I know that sounds like a lot, but considering how many people could have died in these attacks, it's actually pretty small. So they do have reason. And Tony Stark, he's at this college, I think it is, and a woman stops him by the elevator, points out that her son was killed in Sokovia. She blames him. And, the truth is, Sokovia really was on Tony Stark. So I guess that part does hit him pretty hard. And you can tell in this movie he's suffering a little bit. Like the weight of everything is coming down on him. He's having problems with Pepper Potts. They're not together so much anymore. I guess they kind of had to throw that in there. I heard Gwyneth Paltrow really didn't want to do any more Marvel movies, so they kind of had to explain that a little bit. So yeah, I definitely see why Tony is on the side that he's on. It makes sense. Captain America. One of the little gripes I have about this movie, and I really don't have that many gripes at all about this movie. It's a good movie. I'm surprised he didn't point out when they were showing him the videos of the casualties that he didn't say how many people that they saved. He didn't point out that, in New York, excuse me, that was like, they basically saved the world on that one, not just New York City. They saved the world on that one from the Chitauri invasion and being ruled by Loki. DC wasn't on them. That was Hydra had infiltrated the organization, had been in there for decades, and nobody found it, and the Avengers hadn't been around for more than a few years. So how could that possibly be on them? Sokovia is more or less on them. They kind of have to take that one. But yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't point out that, A, not all of those were on them, and B, things could have been a whole lot worse without them. So one of my little gripes, it's kind of an obvious thing, and the movie didn't put it in there. Something that could have been used heavily for Captain America, but it wasn't. Also, this is a Captain America movie. I've been thinking it's going to be like Avengers 3. But it does do a really good job of focusing on Captain America. I mean, yes, Iron Man is in there a lot, but it is definitely a Captain America movie. So, oh yeah, they've been sort of advertising Crossbones. Like people have been saying, "Oh, Crossbones is in the movie." Technically, he's in the movie for like the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then he's gone. So if you're thinking this is like a Crossbones thing, it's not. It's kind of like an Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the Rhino. You know, he's a little bit there at the beginning and at the end. It's not about him. The bad guy is actually somebody named Zemo. His family was killed in Sokovia, so he is setting up these guys to fight each other. And he points out he could have never gone up against them on his own, but he did set it up so they would tear each other apart by using the Winter Soldier. And technically, he didn't use the Winter Soldier; he just set him up. So that was actually it was a pretty cool. This is actually a movie where the bad guy sort of won. He got his way. He got them to fight each other. He got them to tear each other apart. And so that's actually a really cool thing to see. And the movie finishes on sort of a note of ambiguity, like they aren't friends at the end. They didn't reconcile. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So anyway, at the Sokovia Accords is about to be signed. They're at the UN, and a bomb goes off, and it kills. And this is in Wakanda, I think it is. And this movie, by the way, it jumps all over the planet. It's like Vienna, Lagos, Queens, Wakanda, Vienna. It's all over. It's a planetary thing. It's not just a United States thing. That the whole world is saying that basically these guys need to be regulated. So anyway, a bomb goes off, kills the king of Wakanda. His son, who is or going to become the Black Panther, becomes king. And by the way, this is the Black Panther gets his introduction in this movie, and he's actually pretty cool. They don't really give much of a story behind it, but he does tell like the Black Panther is sort of a myth in his country of a protector or soldier. So there's an actual reason why he chose that, and that was pretty cool. I like that. And so Black Panther is going after the Winter Soldier, thinking that the Winter Soldier is responsible for his father's death. And he does a really good job. I mean, his suit's like, I guess it's all vibranium because they have that there. It's the only place that has it. It's really cool. I liked him a lot. Let's see. So yeah, they're tracking down the Winter Soldier. Cap finds him first. Cap defends him when he's being attacked, but they all get arrested and pulled in. And at that point, Cap's a criminal along with Falcon. There's an attack at the place that they're being held, and Winter Soldier and Cap and Falcon, they all escape. Let's see. I'm sort of I always mean to record these like right after the movie, but I'm always so tired when I get home. I never do it. So this is the first one I'm actually doing, so it's not completely fresh in my mind. The fight scenes in this are amazing. They're, I mean, just top notch. They did a fantastic job, despite the fact that the movie is really long. It's entertaining throughout. It's not as quippy as Age of Ultron is, but it's still funny. So a little bit into the movie, they do track down where Cap is going to be, and Iron Man says, or Tony Stark rather, says to the. By the way, the general from the Incredible Hulk is in this. He's the Secretary of State now, and so and he's in charge of sort of this whole Sokovia Accord thing and enforcing it. Tony Stark says he can bring in Cap and Winter Soldier and all them. But he's going to need some help. So, and it turns out he actually knows about Spider-Man. He saw some YouTube videos and he caught on to it. And he figured out who he was, so he goes to his house and he says, you know, I can get you a better suit and everything. And he sort of, I don't want to say he tricks him, but he does kind of trick him. He doesn't really give him the whole story. And this is like a 15-year-old Peter Parker. And so he's like super excited to do this stuff. He knows Iron Man. Or no, he knows who Iron Man is and everything. But yeah, he gets that cool suit, and he really does look good in the movie. He does. I'm still a big fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but this is a good Spider-Man. He's better than the Andrew Garfield one. He comes into the battle, and he doesn't quite know what he's doing. He's not a fighter. He's got the special powers and everything. He's got the strength, the healing. He can crawl on the walls and everything. But he's not a fighter at all. So he doesn't. This is almost like a game to him. At one point, it's even pointed out to him by Falcon. In battle, there's not this much talking, and so Spider-Man apologizes. And honestly, the best line in the movie was Spider-Man's. He was like, that really, really old movie called The Empire Strikes Back, and like everybody's just like, how old is this guy? And, Tony Stark's like, oh, he's on the young side. So that battle goes down. Ant-Man gets giant in this. Ant-Man was kind of brought in sort of, like he could have been brought into the movie a little bit better. They just open a van and there he is. But I mean, it's still nice to see him in the movie, and it's really nice to see he got big, he got small, he sort of went through the range of all the things he can do, and it was nice to see that. Vision is probably the most powerful one, and he does the least in this movie. Yeah, he's capable of so much, but I think he lands like three punches, and I guess they didn't want to overuse him because he is just so powerful. But I don't necessarily think he's underutilized, which sounds weird considering what I just said, because he is in the movie and he is sort of in charge of keeping Scarlet Witch under control, which he doesn't successfully do. Of course, we see later. But I liked him. Scarlet Witch was pretty good in this. Wasn't utilized too much either. I mean, they really did keep the focus on the two main characters. And Spider-Man's really only in two scenes. There's the one where Tony goes to his apartment and recruits him. And then there's that big battle, which I guess I shouldn't say two scenes because the battle is a lot of scenes. But it's still, I kind of count that as one big scene. And it's a good battle. It really is. All of them sort of utilize their abilities. During the process, War Machine takes a hit to the chest from actually Vision, friendly fire. He falls. Iron Man and Falcon try to catch him. They both miss him by a little bit. And he actually winds up getting paralyzed. So there is a real concept. And it doesn't completely get fixed. Like Tony Stark puts some tech on him at the end of the movie and he's sort of learning to walk again. But he is paralyzed. There's a consequence to this battle. So I really like seeing that. Then a little bit later in the movie, the big reveal happens. Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. He didn't just kill them, he killed them brutally. They show it. He runs their car off the road, he comes back around, he's got the father, he punches him in the face twice with his metal arm, killing him, putting him back in the car. Then he goes to the passenger side, reaches in his human hand around his mother's throat, and basically he either strangles her or he snaps her neck or something. I mean, it is brutal. And Tony is seeing this now on video. And of course he loses it, and I don't blame him at all. I mean, that was actually a good reason for Tony to go off at the end. And yeah, I mean, it was great seeing Captain America and Iron Man fight, and they are going at each other. They're not pulling punches, they are just going. Captain America does eventually overpower Tony. He takes out his arc reactor. Winter Soldier loses his metal arm, and actually Tony was successful in blowing that off. I mean, it is a brutal fight. It is a great fight, but it is brutal. Captain America is helping Bucky away, and Tony Stark says, "That's not your shield. Don't take that shield. My father made that shield." And, I see his point, too, because it's like, my father made you that shield, and now you're defending his killer. Sorry, that's my cat. And, I mean, it really is this heart-wrenching battle at the end, and it doesn't really conclude. And at the end, Captain America writes Tony a letter and just sort of explains himself. I mean, it's a good movie. I'd say the Captain America series is probably the only MCU where each sequel has been better than the one before it. I mean, Iron Man really didn't do that. Like, the first one was still the best one. Thor's interchangeable, but and the Avengers, of course, the first one was better. But yeah, Captain America, each one is getting better, and it's just... This is an amazing movie. I give it an A or a 5 out of 5, honestly. I mean, I have a few little gripes about it, but they're just little gripes. Nothing to worry about, nothing to really care about. So, I absolutely recommend this movie. If you've watched it this far, presumably you've already seen it because it's a spoiler video. But if you did watch all of this video with the spoilers and everything, I mean, it's still, go see the movie. I mean, the spoilers, I'm saying, do not do it justice. It is a fantastic movie. Definitely, this is what Batman vs. Superman should have been. A lot of different storylines, way more characters than that one had, and they made it work. I mean, DC needs to go talk to the Marvel guys. They know how to do this. Just swallow your pride, DC. Go talk to Marvel. Find out how they do it, and just do what they do. You don't have to be funny. You don't have to bring in the funny, lighthearted stuff. You can still be serious. But find out how they get these multiple story arcs together and all that good stuff. So, I mean, it's just, I can't say enough good things. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt. I love this movie. It's a great movie. And like I said, 5 out of 5, excellent movie. I highly recommend. So, this is the end of my first impressions video. Hopefully I was able to stay somewhat coherent. I usually just ramble through these videos, but yeah, hopefully I was coherent enough. After I do it for a while, I'm sure I'll get better at it. I really regret not doing the Batman versus Superman one, but at this point it's too late. I mean, honestly, it might even be too late for this one. Everybody and their brothers already put out a review for it. But anyway, here's mine anyway. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the movie. If there's anything you think I could improve on for these first impression videos, please leave it in the comments. Constructive criticism is welcome. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I guess that'll do it for now. Thank you for watching.